Good day, everyone. It's KW with more Artisan of Glimmith. I'm going to be looking around for places I can, well, solve things that aren't done yet. So this is done. I think the first one that's not done is this area number um, window. So might as well just do this one. Let's do it. How many we got left? 7 puzzles. They're going to be tricky, so let's see if I can get them all done in one video. If not, whatever. What's this? Palisade. Again, no, I want stuff that's just this rule. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. No, no, not going there. I'll have to go back there to get the last puzzle, but not right now. I don't actually see a lot of puzzles here. There's one here hidden. I'm trying to save the best for last, so to speak. Get the hardest ones done at the end. We'll see. It's weird to like do a really tricky puzzle and then be like, oh, right, I missed this little easy one. It's kind of anticlimactic, so I'm trying to make the hardest ones last. Rose windows area number is all I gotta worry about here. Okay, so I need 5 regions. And we've got 30 spaces here, and if we add all this stuff up together, we get 18. So we're looking at something's got a region of 12 I've got to do. So right away, whatever this region is here is not going to touch the 4. And here's why. If it touches the 4, it has to be in these 3 spaces. But it's not going to fill both of those. If it touches, that's great. But now I've got a region here that doesn't have a rose window. Same with this. So this isn't going to touch the 4. It's going to do this, which means if it doesn't touch the 4 from here, then this is the big region. This must be it. Right? Because this is a region, this is a region, this is a region. That's 4 regions. I need a 5th region. Doesn't touch any of these 4. Since this one can't touch the 4, it can't touch any of them. It won't reach. There's not enough space. So this might be part of it. I'm not totally sure yet. But we're going to make this the 4. Well, the 4. We're going to make it purple. I could move this in. Well, let's think about this circle here. If this circle is not part of the big region, if it's part of one of these 4, the only one it could be is that 3. In which case... I actually see that happening. I think I can see a version of that, but I'm not totally sure if that's correct. What I want to do, like if I had this, I would need the yellow region to go around it. So I would need to somehow fill in all the other spaces. So the 4, I'll draw notes. Rather than just do this, I've seen the answer to the puzzle from on high. I'm going to try to demonstrate what I've seen. If the 4 goes this way and the yellow region comes around, that's fine. Now the 6 region needs to occupy these spaces. Sorry, not all of those. These spaces. And the 5 region needs to occupy those. And that should fill it in. Does that look right? That's somewhat unsatisfying, because this is just a case where I just kind of saw an answer rather than worked it out. I've gone over this before. I don't think that's good if I just see the answer. I want to have a bit more work to do than this. So this is how that would go. We have a 5, we have a 6, and then this region just takes the rest. Alright, I mean, it's not a bad puzzle, it's just not a good one. Or at least, I don't know. Maybe there was a way to approach that logically, but it looked to me like the best way to approach it was to just see the answer. Again, that's the stuff I object to, is I don't want the puzzle designer to be trying to convince me to just see the whole thing in one go. I want to be looking at the puzzle and being able to determine purely through logic what the next step is. And if I ever do a thing of I'm going to guess the next step and see what that does, that's bad. So anyway, mingle shape, area numbers. Well, there's got to have a wall here. Because if there isn't a wall here, this S piece is broken. So that's for sure. The S piece is now determined. So we've got to have a 4 that's a different shape than an S, and the only way we can do that is an L shape, because we have to have these 3 pieces. But we can't go up. That's breaking the mingle shape. So we've got to have that. Now we've got to have this 4, but it can't move to the left because it'll touch an L shape, which is what we have here. So we've got to block that. These two cannot be together because it breaks the T. So the T shape has to be here. And it's okay to have this, because I don't see any rule that says they all have to be 4s. Just that I got to follow area numbers and polyominoes. So I can have a single piece right here just fine. Now this 4 can't be a T. It can be an S piece just fine. It can't be an L. No, it could be an L like that. L or S for sure. I think that's forced. Don't see any other way to make that happen. Here's an interesting one. Can these two ever touch? No, because now the elbow's broken. So we do have to block it. Put the elbow here. And then this is... It can't be an elbow because we've got mingle shape rules happening. How on earth am I going to do this one? I think I see it. I think this is the S shape. Okay, well, the way we can do this Z shape here, we can do it that way, which looks fine. We can also do it this way, which looks bad because there's nowhere to put that 4. I can't move to the left, so I either move up, which forces that move, or I move right, which forces... Okay. So this must be it, which gives me this wonderful V-shape 5. This has to now be an S piece. Does it? Can it be a T piece? No. If it's a T piece here, then this L has to come up, like so. Well, it could do this and just ruin the puzzle, but that makes a T shape there, which we can't do. So I was right. S piece here, which gives us an L, which gives us a S piece up here, and now we can just fill in some of these remaining pieces. See, that's what I want to see. Like, we just go, we have a way to determine the next step of the puzzle without any guesswork. And it seems like, I don't know, my luck with this game is, if the difficulty of the puzzle is between 1 and 3, I can usually logically work it out, but they're easy. They're fun, but they're easy puzzles. If the difficulty is 6 or 7, I also can work out logically step by step. They're hard, but they're logical. 4s and 5s? Well, generally 4s. Those are the ones I've been yelling at the most. There's so many puzzles with difficulty 4 that I'm just expected to see all of it. Like, I'm going back here to yell about I'm so fucking livid about this part of the game. Unbelievable it's still in here. Actually, this is one of the only good ones. Where are those puzzles I wanted to keep? This is a 5. This one was just, I had to see it. I had to try a thing, and if it worked, I won the puzzle. Awful. It's a 5. Where's the other one that I wanted to die? This one. I just had to try it. None of the logical steps I was doing anything. It's a 4. Like, what is this? Do people not know how to make medium difficulty puzzles? Is that where we are? Anyway, that is my contractual obligation to yell about the parts of this game that really are failures. All right, so we got 6, 6, 6, and there's another 6 hidden back there. There's a 5 hidden back there. Let's do it. All right, mingle shape area number. That's all I got to worry about. Oh dear. So these areas are going to be interesting. Well, I'm going to start with these 2 dominoes. I think this is their break-in. Because the dominoes, there's no way for us to connect them to each other, which means that they can't ever move toward this piece here. So they've got to move out. That's got to be our break-in. Now the trouble is this 3. This 3's got to move out. Now the question is, does it move to the right? And the answer to that is no. We know this much because now this 3 has nowhere to go. So this must be an elbow, and it must move down. Is that right? Yes, it must move down. The reason is, we know we can't move it further to the right. So this piece either is its own 3 or it's connected to the elbow. If it's its own piece, it can't connect to the 4. It creates another elbow here, which is illegal. So this is now part of a straightaway piece, which can't move to the right. It moves up and down, so it at least moves this far, forcing us to put an elbow piece here. Now this 3 can't move up again because now we have another domino, which we can't do. Now we can't even split it in half because then we have 2 singles next to each other. Therefore this must move up and down this direction. Okay, so the interesting bit is this piece here. Now, it could be a single. That's the thing, is this could be a single piece. We don't know yet. Actually, we do. No, we do know. I can work this out. So this piece can't be a domino or a triomino. It can't be 2 or 3, because we're touching a 2 and a 3. So the question is it 1 or is it higher than 3? Well, if it's higher than 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's as far as we can take it. We're now surrounded by 3's. So it's either a 1 or a 4. If we say it's a 1, we leave 3 spaces here. This piece now needs to be 3. Oops, we're touching a 3. Because it can't be 4, because that overloads into the other 3's. It can't be 2, because a domino can't be a single. So we know this is an L shape. That gives us this 3, which could be an elbow or could be straightaway. We don't know yet. This 3 must extend to the right. The question is, let's go there. Ah, hold on. Now this 3 must be a straightaway. Because if it bends down, we have an elbow and an elbow here, which we can't do. So we have to have that, which means this does need to be an elbow. The only way to do it is to make it part of this elbow here. Now, this 4 is interesting because all 3 of these numbers need to be part of the same unit. There's no way they're not, right? I'll even show you if that's not immediately obvious. We can't have them all be different because now this 4 is a solo. So this 4 has to connect to one of the 2. If it only connects to the red one, well, now it can't. It's only got room for 3. If it only connects to the yellow one, this one doesn't have room. So these are all part of the same 4. But I don't know yet if it's an O shape or an S shape. We have 2 possibilities with that. Let's see. This 3 could be either type of triomino. This one as well. Ah, no, this has to be an elbow. Here's why. If it's a straightaway, it either touches this domino or it traps that section up there. So this is an elbow piece. However, there's no guarantee which direction it goes. It does have to take either this spot or that spot, or both. It can take both of the spots like so. But either way, this piece can no longer be a straight piece, because if it's a straight piece, it doesn't have room to go to the left, and it can't go down because it traps that in. So this must also be an elbow. These could connect. No, these can't connect. I was trying to think, like, we could make something like this. If these 3 pieces, like, if this moves out, it has to connect. So let's suppose it connects. Well, now we know these are straightaways, but now we're in trouble, because this straightaway will always touch another one. Mingle shape says you can't do that. So these are, in fact, 2 separate pieces that must be blocked, which is going to force us to do this, and put a single right there. This domino is complete. This 3... can't be an elbow, because what do we do with that 3? Therefore, we have a straight triomino piece. And I think this 4 has to be an S piece. And the reason is, if it is not an S piece, if it's an O piece, we have nowhere to move this to that doesn't cause a mingle shape issue. Down or right creates a domino in here, which is bad, and up creates an elbow piece, which is also bad. So this 4 is in fact an S piece. And we should be able to get a bunch of singles out of that. That's a good puzzle. It says 5, but I don't know. As well as like the logic problem I have, 1 through 3 tends to be easy, 6 to 7 tends to be hard. 4s and 5s sometimes are really easy for me, sometimes they're really hard for me, sometimes they're very logical, sometimes they're not. It's really a coin flip whether I get a good puzzle out of this. I'd say that one was good, but not as hard as I thought it would be. Because the logical move was always very obvious, at least as far as I could tell. So we got 4 left. I see the one here, that's a 6. I see the 6 there, I see the 6 there, and there was another one back here. Let me just real quick. Oh yeah, right behind. They're all 6s, so let's go for it. Let's do a bunch of 6s, see if I can get them done in about half an hour. Oh dear. Oh dear Lord. Alright, so here's 20, 19, 18. Alright. Wait, how many spaces we got? We got 64 spaces. So, 20 plus 19 plus 18, that's going to be 57. Which leaves 7. So, fuck. Okay. So this 20 and that 20 are the same region is what we're saying here. Because if we add this all up, 19, all these 18s are the same. Hold on, this is 19, this is 18, and then this is the 7. Yeah, so because if we were to make any of these separate regions, we'd have way too many spaces. Because if you add 20 plus 19 plus 18 plus 7, you get 64. Don't ask me how I did the math that fast. Just happened to know. Well, my trick was 19 times 3 is how you get these together, rather than 20 plus 19 plus 18, right? Because if you take 20 and you take one number off of 20 and you give it to 18, you have 3 19s. So 19 times 3. Anyway. The question is, who is going to be along the outer edge? Is there any way the 18 cuts through the center? Because this 7's got to connect to itself. The 7 really has to either do this. Whoop, press my Windows button. I really got to get off of Windows. This is going to happen someday. Too many of my work programs are associated with Windows. Get rid of Microslop. So this is a possibility. Well, really anything in there. That's where red's got to go. So it can't go here or there. So we know that much. It's got to move up. The question is whether the 3 remaining pieces are these 3 or those 3 or any mixture thereof. So that means that the 18s have to go. Everyone's got to go around the edge. So that's the issue, is that all of these other pieces have to connect without going through the center. That's what these 7s are doing for us. So we got to go around the edge. Now, if the 20 here goes around to the left, I think we're in big trouble, because now we've got to get the 19 and the 18 out. And the 18 can't cut this way without blocking 19, so it would have to also go around this way. Well, it would have to just go that far, but then 19 can't go. So I think 20 is forced to go around this side. If 19 cannot no longer fit on this side, it has to go to the left, but does it go through here? No, because then it cuts off the 18. So we have to go around this way for 19. 20 is going to come around the back, I think. Um, 19 will come up. Will it move in or not? That's the other thing. I don't know the exactness, but 18 now comes out this way. We have to connect these. It could just go here. I don't think the 20 comes up this way, because now this 18 can't get over there. So this 18 has to come through, like so. So the 20 comes in that way. So how much we got? 17. I got room for 3 more pieces. This 18 comes down. This 19 comes down. It can come down one more space, but it has to take this one. It doesn't have to take this space. What are the 3 spaces that 20 can take? It can only, if I block this off, 20 can only take 1, 2. That's the most it can take. Any more and it blocks 19 in. Therefore, this 20 does have to move up. It doesn't get in the way of anything else. It does. The 18 is to come through now. So the 7 is now blocked in here. 5, 13, we would have 19. Just one more piece. We have 18 here, so the 18's done. The 19 is 19 is this. 18, 19, 7, and then the 20 should be complete. And there we go. That was way easier than I thought it would be. This is a case where the logical steps weren't individual pieces that you're finding, more like you have to figure out how the pathing is going to go, which actually was really nicely done. I like that one. How about you over here? Ah! It's scary. Okay. Well, let me start by filling in. What do we got? 112 pieces. That's not going to help at all. I'm going to start by filling in anything with 3. I'm going to do it with this color for now. I might change the colors later so I can differentiate pieces. But that's 3s. We're going to say 4s are purple. Oh, hold on. 2s. I've always just made 2s dominoes orange. 5 I'm going to do as cyan here. And then the 6 is going to just be blue. I think that covers all the area numbers we got. And so what I know is now this also has to be a 3 on this side. Like that's how it is. But this isn't. So I know this 3's got to be blocked here. Now it could be an elbow attaching here or an elbow not attaching. We don't have a mingle shape rule. Mingle shape would break the puzzle because we have Gemini rules there. This 2 could go here. We don't know. This is tricky because like finding a break-in is going to be hard here, and I really hope it's not a case where we just pick one and guess and then hope we get it from there. This guy, well, if we have a delta here, we do have to block the 3 in this case. The deltas might help us out because now we have to block the 5 here. Then we got to block the 3 there. It's a start, but it's not a lot. The thing is, though, this isn't right. See, it's possible that they have the same area, they just don't have the same shape. This is acceptable. So actually, no, I think that first move isn't... I cannot logically make that move. I could do this. They just have to be different shapes. Alright, let's find a shape that we can work with. There's nothing guaranteeing that this 3 touches the other ones. It's possible that it's its own shape. Like if we had a rule that said solitude, for instance, then we'd know we can't make these the same shape, but we don't have that rule. Let's see. Fit. Had a lot of possibilities here. If I make this a straight piece, this also has to be a straight piece. But we have multiple ways to do that. Like we have this way. At this point, there's just massive amounts of guessing, so I don't want to do it that way. I want to find something to rule out a possibility. Is this one? This really isn't one. There's got to be something I can do here. Well, I know that if I were to put an elbow here at all, I would force this to go straight, which would force this one to go straight, so it would force that at least. But this doesn't really tell me anything. There has to be an elbow here, but there's nothing that says, like, I could also make the elbow like this. I could leave a blank space. There doesn't seem to be a rule about that. And then here could be anything. Here would have to be an elbow, but it could go any which way. It would make a bunch more elbows. I should probably think about this center square, actually. Hold on. I bet some people noticed this center square immediately. This center square has to be 3s and 5s. 3 and 5. This 5... right? They both have to have the same region shape, which means the same area. You can't have two shapes of 2 different areas, but the same shape. So this 5 can't move up, right, or into this space because then they would conflict here. So it has to move out, but it can't join with this piece here. So it has to go here. It could move up. It could move down. So I know that this is a 5er, right? Right now I'm using color as my shape definer, but I think I'll change colors once I know more what I'm doing, which is going to force this to be a 5. Well, let's think about this. If this was a C shape, where could we put a C shape here? We can't. This is the only C shape. Is that right? Yeah, there's no other way to make a C shape. So this has to be the Z shape. So I think this shape is complete, which means this also has to be that shape. So we could take it this way. That seems to work just fine. This also seems to work just fine, but I think it doesn't. I think this will break the puzzle. The reason is we now need this spot to be a Z shape and that spot to be a Z shape. The only way to do that is like this, and now we have a problem here. Or this, but now, this is fine. Fuck. I keep forgetting. We can have a shape without a number. Damn it. Okay, so it's possible that we have that. So, oh, we can't do this one because the 3 is blocked in. So I guess I should have been thinking about this side first. So we do in fact have this Z shape come through here. This one has, this piece now needs to be part of the Z, but it can't move up to start because then we would have this issue. This 5 has nowhere to go. So we have to move in. This 5 is now orange, like so. So this also has to be orange, which is going to go through here. And we're good. So we've got all these pieces set. I don't think we are... Yeah, we can do whatever we like with the rest of our 5s. This 5 now is going to touch at least one of these 2 pieces. Now, we can make a logical inference, I guess, if we assume one of these isn't touched. We could say both of them are, but I would break the puzzle. In fact, this would immediately break it because the only shape in a pentomino that features a 2x2 is the P shape, and you can't put a P shape in here. We're out of space. We'd have to come up through this 5, so it doesn't work. We can only touch one of these 2 spots. Let's suppose we don't touch that one. Let's suppose we put a wall here. We have to come up this way and over. Now this is a single spot. That's fine. We would be forced to make this move. The reason we'd be forced to make that move is we now need 3 in here and it can't touch that. We have to have 2 singles. That would be forced. This would come up. We need a place for this to go. If it moves up, it orphans the 5, so we make a W shape. Now, do we break the puzzle if we go the other way and put a wall here? I would need to have the same shape 5, and we can't fit it in because the 3 now, yeah, we do that. So that is, in fact, how we get it solved. So we have a W shape here. I'm going to make it blue. That's what I usually like to do with W shapes. Singles, and then good old elbow pieces. Oops. Let's just do that. Gosh, I hope this is right. So far, this feels right. It's working out. We haven't run into problems so far. Okay, now we need to put a W here. And there's only one way to do it because it can't connect to 4s and 3s. It must go like that. Which is great for this delta because definitely different shape there. So this 4 is going to extend out, which means this 4 is. There's only one way to do it. We can't move it up because it's going to block that in. So we have to move to the right and up again. We have an S piece. So we have an S piece there. Great. This 6 now needs to move to the right. Oh, dear Lord, I've broken the puzzle. Was there anything else I could do here? Because this 3 now has... No, it's fine. This 3's fine. I was like thinking I can't fit the 6 anywhere here. I can't do anything with... No, that's fine. I thought if I bring this over and down and around like this, the 3's will get trapped. I think I can make this work. What I know for sure is there's got to be a wall here. This 3 has to be a straightaway coming that way. This 6 has to at least bend down and around. Let's pick a different color to try with because it's not one of these guaranteed shapes. The 6 could move in here, but we do know that we have a singleton right there. Now, this 3 really only has one way to go. It must come out. Yeah, I know. It's going to say it's blocked. Let's just make sure this has to come out. Ah, this can't bend up. It must bend down. So we have an elbow here, which is going to force an elbow there. That is great. So now we know these are elbow pieces. This could still be an elbow, as long as this doesn't move to the right. Where do we go from there? This is elbow. See, this could move down and make this a straightaway. Nah, it can't. Hold on. Down here has to be a straightaway. Just the regular triomino. That's what that is. That makes this an elbow piece. It's got to be a 3, and that's the only shape it can be. This 5 is a couple options. It could be an L shape or a Y shape, or an N shape. Has a few. It does have to come out that far. This 3 can no longer move down because it's got to be an elbow. It's got to move that way. Puts an elbow shape here, which still could connect that way. This could go down. This could go up. Nothing's stopping it from going up. Don't think. Anything else going on here? I didn't decide what that was. I just had something there. If I were to move this down, this is fine because it's a single. If I don't move it down, it's either a domino or it's connected to the 4. So we're safe in regards to this piece. The 4 can't move up. That's for sure. We do have to stop that. 4 could move down, though. It could easily connect to this 4. We have 2 S's. That's totally fine. This 3 can't move down because it would have to be an elbow shape. Oh, hold on. No, that would be fine. Delta's up here, you dummy. This 3 can't be an elbow shape if that's an elbow shape. This can move down just fine. Now, this has to be elbow. There's multiple ways to do it. Let's think about if this elbow comes up. If this elbow comes up, whether it's here, well, if it's up this way, this elbow is now forced here. The 6 is trapped. If the elbow comes this way, the only way to survive is to bring this elbow down. The 6 is still trapping in this 3. So this elbow here, go back to where, whatever. Let's go back here. We've got to have a wall there. So it has to move to the right, which means this can't be an elbow piece, which is going to force it to be that. That's elbow, that's a single. This elbow now curls up, 2 singles, and we're good, because now the 6 can come down around this way. God, I hope this is right. It's so far it feels good, but I'm always worried, because sometimes with these really late level puzzles, I get to the end and something goes wrong, and either I have to start the whole thing over because I made a mistake early that didn't catch up to me to the end, or there's something I just missed toward the end that I just don't understand. That's really frustrating when that happens. Let's give that. This has got to be an elbow. That's the only elbow place to put it. So the 6 is complete here. We have to have a straightaway. The only way to do it now is this, which gives us another straightaway here. Good thing we don't have a mingle shape rule. We need to have an elbow here, which does in fact force 2 S's. Like so, which gives us a Y shape down at the bottom. And now we just fill in our singles. Our single. Okay, I was like, why didn't the puzzle finish? Forgot about those guys. That was awesome. That was an awesome puzzle. That really took a lot, but it was good. How many left? 2 left. Is the one behind here that I forgot? Let's get that one. Sometimes there's just a lot of symbols. It's hard to... Okay, so we know... We're going to have... Oh my god. So we have 64 spots. We're going to have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. 12 times 6? Wait, what? No, that's not right. Not every shape is going to be a 6. That's what's going to be. How many 6s do we have? I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 6s. Now, if we count 12 times 6 is 72. So clearly some of these 6s are going to touch each other. That is what we can gather from that, which really makes this difficult. What the fuck am I going to do with this? How many regions total do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 regions? Well, they're definitely not all going to be the same size. Is anything I can glean from this? Where do I even start with this? Maybe I start with some of these 6s. How can a 6... Well, some 6s will touch each other. So, if a 6 touches another 6, let's say those 2 touch each other, they need to have 4 more spaces. And those 4 spaces have to include all 4 symbols, like so. That might be a place to start. So I'm going to make every 6 yellow. We're going to work bit by bit and change the colors on this. So this 6 here, can it touch another 6 and get all of the symbols? I think the answer is yes. Let's suppose this... Now let's change them. Suppose these 2 6s were friends. These 2 are the same unit. We would have to touch the square. This is a possible way to do it. That's a bad way, but this is a possible way to do it. So unfortunately, we got an answer that we like. Now, if we instead suppose that these 2 were the 6s that touched, there kind of seems like an endless way to do that. This is just one way to do it. We could even get these 2 to touch, I think. Yeah. Oh, no, this is not going to be a great start if this is it. I've got to find... Because, like, I was demonstrating what we would be doing with this. However, if this is how I'm meant to find the break-in, this is guesswork. If I have to just try every single 6 until I find one that does it, that is going to make me want to kill myself. So, I've got to find... There's a 6 somewhere that's got to be on its own, right? Is there any way to break this down into digestible chunks? Because there's also going to be units that aren't connected to 6s. We know that. I've got a few units like this I can just make, but I don't know if that's the right answer. Again, that's guesswork. That's what if I do this and see what happens. Like, there's a difference in my mind between me demonstrating, this will break the puzzle. If I put a piece here, you see that going forward it breaks the puzzle. That's operating logically. If I were to say, if I do this, what happens, and then work from the puzzle from there, that is not logic, that's guessing. The game says you don't require guessing for any puzzle, but we've already proven they're lying because the match puzzles require guessing or the ability to see the entire puzzle in one go, neither of which are good design. So that's the trouble as I look at this and go, oh shit, do we have another one of those? Does this mean something here? No. I'm trying to think like a spot that doesn't have a lot of one region. Right? Is there a place... It looks like all the symbols are pretty well distributed. There seems to be something up with these 4 triangles. Right? So whatever unit, whatever this triangle has, it is pretty restricted. It can't touch another triangle. So it's going to have to touch this 6, right? This triangle, because it can't get to a diamond without going through either a triangle, breaking the puzzle, or through the 6, forcing it to be 6 plus the 4 units. Can this be in part of another 6 then? Probably not. So the question is which direction does it go through? Now if I took this circle, right? I can't take that one. I would be forced to move down. And we'd be stuck. I think we'd be stuck here. Right? Look. We can take this square. Oh no, we can take this square and we'd be stuck. Or we can take this square and that's 6. That's one way. But see, that's guessing because we don't know if it's a square. If I don't take that circle at all, if I were to block it there, I could take this circle. But then I couldn't take that 6, we'd be in trouble with that triangle. I'd have to take one more piece, which would be... Yeah, hold on. I think I've worked that out. Okay, so again, logically, this triangle obviously has got to connect to 3 other symbols. It doesn't have to connect to a 6. We can have units that don't. But if a unit doesn't connect to a 6, it can only be 4 and exactly 4 in area. So because every spot is filled with a symbol. That's the break-in. Every spot's filled with a symbol. It's either a 6 or a rose window. So either we have units which are 2 6s and rose windows, or units which are just 4 rose windows. There is no way to make this top right corner a unit of 4. Because if you ignore the 6, you'll hit 2 triangles. Therefore, it must touch the 6. If we don't touch the circle below us, we are forced to take this route. And then the only circle we can reach... we can reach a circle, but now I have a bunch of squares. The only circle we can reach is this one. So we're going to touch one of these 2 diamonds. But we have to touch another 6. You can't have just one 6 because then you would either have 2 of the same rose window symbol or an area of only 5. The only other 6 we can touch now, we can't touch this one because it goes through a triangle, would be this one, but we leave an empty space there. From that, we can determine that this triangle does move down and left. Now it can't move further to the left because of this circle, it doubles us up. Now, we might touch this square. I do not know 100%. I think I actually do know 100%. We know regardless of whether we touch this square, we do have to move down and touch the diamond. We can't move left or right because we have more triangles. So if we touch this square, we're screwed. But if we touch this one down at the bottom, we can move over and touch the 6. So I think this is our first region. And this is, in fact, not a guessing puzzle. It is a logic puzzle. That actually is a pretty brilliant break-in. It's kind of hard to spot. But when you have an IQ as high as mine with 2 digits in it, then by God, you're going to figure these puzzles out. So let's take now this triangle, because we're pretty forced in these moves. We have to take the triangle, and yeah, I know, through to the 6. So we have to touch another 6. What is the only other 6 we can touch is this one. That's the only one we're going to reach. Everything else is too far away. So we just have to touch a circle and a square. Unfortunately, I have a couple options available to me, but this square is required from this 6, which does give us something down here. Now this unit right here, this diamond could move up to the circle, but it has to move down through here. So the question is, does it take this circle or this one? We don't know, but we know it has to take those 3. This is blocked for sure. And then from there, we don't know. How about up here? This square now is going to extend out. There's nothing saying we have to touch the 6 though. Because I could ignore it and do this. That's fine, right? So we do know this much for sure. Can I do this again in any other location? Yeah, it's a little harder in the other locations because I can easily just make a single unit of 4. I know I need 13 regions total. So I'm going to number them. This is region A. I'm not going to give them numbers because I see numbers here. Region A. That's set. So I've made this one. Let's make this purple. Let's do it until it's a little lighter. Sometimes the purple's hard to read. It's very dark. I'm going to say this is region B. We know this is region B. I know this is region C. I know this is region D. So I'm going to just double count again. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I need to go all the way up to region M. M is in Mancy. So I'm going to use this to figure out the number we're going to have. All the 6s are going to be doubles. So we have 12 6s, which means 6 of our 13 regions are going to be 6s, which is 36 pieces. 7 times 4 is 28. That does bring me to 64. So we're going to have 6 regions. These 2 are definitely 6 regions, and 7 4 regions. Well, now, I was going to say this 6 got to touch another 6. Which one could it touch? Which one could it touch? There's 6 here. If it touched this one, then what circle is it going to touch? It can't touch that one. It's going to block us in because we're saying this 6 is part of that region. Actually, can this D be part of 2 6s? In order for this D to be part of 2 6s, we have 2 of the rows and windows taken. We would need to take 2 6s. These would be the 2 it would take. And we would need to touch a circle and a diamond. Would be these 2. But it can't touch 2 6s now because we'd overload no matter what we do. If we go through this way, what are we gonna? We're gonna go. We can't do anything. So this one is in fact a 4 region. The D region is complete. So now we need a region from here. This 6 has got to extend, make it a slightly lighter color, be easier to read on top of it. This is our E region, right? So this region has to connect to another 6. It also has to connect to a circle. Which circle will it be? There's a couple options. Well, here, let me make my F region. My F region is going to be, pick a color, it's not quite what's here. Let's make this red. This is the F region right here. Okay. It could touch the 6. It could be a single region that doesn't touch the 6. The question is now with this 6, which one does it touch? And which circle does it touch? There's a few circles around that are reachable. I have 4 more spaces to go. If I reached this circle, there are only 2 ways to go about that. One of them, yeah, I can't touch it. Actually, there's only one. I can't touch another square. So I'd have to go through here and then down and over. And that leaves an orphan cell. So we're going to cross that. Cross this circle off our list. We can't make that part of the E region. This circle being part of the E region would require this move, which is legal because now we just come through here with the 6. No, wrong. We cannot touch this circle, right? We have to touch the square, which means we can't cut through. We'd have to cut around. We could cut around this way. Well, I know it won't go this way. The reason is we would have to have a region here. Touch the 6. Now we need to touch another 6, but we're out of room. We don't have enough regions left because the other 6 is too far away. So we cannot bring us through there to the 6, which we don't know if it's part of this one yet. Now, if I reach this circle by going through a different 6, it would be this one. This causes a problem. Yeah, this causes a problem because now there's only 1 circle left in this whole area. So this 6 would have to touch that one, which means it would leave 2 squares behind. So I do not think there is any way to reach that circle, which means there's no way it touches this 6. It must then therefore go down to that 6. That leaves the F to move down. So we got to touch a diamond and a circle. So we can't touch this diamond because then we can't touch any circles. So that is for sure. So the question is, does it go here? Does it go there? Does it go there? It probably doesn't go there. Again, yeah, it doesn't because we just showed that earlier. This 6 would no longer have any weight, right? This 6 would have touched that one, which would leave a bunch of empty spaces. So therefore, we don't move. That's a possibility. Yeah, that's still a possibility as well as that. So we don't know. We do not know. We just know that it can't move left twice. That means this 6 probably touches that one. Is there a world where it touches that and then that? Who knows? We just have 3 more 6 units because our E space, our B space, and our A space are 3 of the 6 sixers. Our D, our F, and our C have 3 of the 7 fourers. Well, this F is complete, actually. We do need to take... Because I thought maybe the F takes a 6. It doesn't take a 6. We can't reach it, so we have to make this the F. So this has to be the E. God, I hope this is right. Like, I've been working really hard at this. So now this 6 does, in fact, need to move down to that one. Yeah, because if it's going to touch. All I know is this 6 can't move left and take that circle. Because if it takes this circle, then these symbols up here all have to connect to the 6 in order to touch any circle at all, and we'll have 2 squares. So that's got to be blocked. This 6 must move down into that circle. So this circle could be a part of the 6 if we separate them, or it could just be a part of a solo unit. We could also... We can't take all 3 of these symbols. In fact, can we ever take this square? I don't think we can ever take this square. Oh dear, we could. If we take this square, we now have this. This is totally valid. This is a totally valid thing to do. Damn. Can we take this triangle? No. If the 6 takes this triangle, we got to block that. Well, now the 6 must extend into the square, or we'll never have enough space for the 6. Now we can't touch that square. Where does the square belong? Nowhere. Therefore, this is where the wall goes here. Huh. Which means this triangle must touch that square. And here's why. If this triangle doesn't touch that square, obviously we only have 3 units here because we can't touch across the wall. So this triangle is going to go here. Let's make it a nice light color so we can draw it in. And it's going to touch this circle. It's the only one it can touch. Now it might touch this diamond, or oh right, can't go through 2 triangles. So yes, we do in fact have region G right here is complete as a purple region. So the 6 must go through this way. This is how it goes. Make a green region, make a nice light green. This is our H region. Is this right? God, I hope it's right. Like, I think it is. This feels good. I feel like I'm logically progressing through this, but I also know that I'm not smart enough to understand this, and I might have screwed it up early, and it's gonna come back to bite me at the end. So we're gonna say we gotta have a region here. This is our region I. Right on top of the square is the hardest one to read. I. That's what that is. Letter I. The question is now... Oh, no, the question is nothing. That's a square region. We can't do that. We have to bring it over to the 6. So now we have to touch another 6. What are the 6s we can touch? We cannot touch this 6. Because we'll either have to touch 2 squares or 2 triangles. Right? Because the only way we have essentially 2 more degrees of freedom to work with. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 2 more pieces. These 2 gives us 2 squares. These 2 give us 2 triangles. These 2 give us 2 triangles. Therefore, this is the 6 we touch, and these 2 6s go together. Which means we must move down and down again, and that gives us all our pieces. That's the I complete. The J region now is also set right here. Get lighter. That's J. So we need K, L, and M. That's going to be in here. So C isn't complete yet, but we still don't know. This region is going to be the 6er. Which we can prove pretty easily. Look at light blue, because it's got to come out this way. It's got to touch a diamond, which will be this one. Yeah, we only have 2 more spaces we can fill on the way to this 6. We can't touch this square, so we must go around this way. That gives us our K region, and I think we're home free at this point. Yes, we are. At this point, we're close enough to the end of the puzzle. The C region is complete here. Then we have, let's call this our L region. And then our M region is right here. Green for M, as always, and then there. Oh, that was glorious. That was... Oh, that's so good. Do we have any more? We have 1 more. I'm going to make it part of this video. This is just going to be a long-ass video. Deal with it. I've been trying with this series not to do my Islands of Insight thing where I just keep playing until I realize the time and then rush to go off to work or whatever I'm doing. Trying to keep them more bite-sized, but you know what? I really like these puzzles, and I'm going to do this last one here. Oh, this isn't quite as scary looking, but it is certainly daunting. Alright, we've got to figure something out with these, but I don't know what. Oh, hold on. How many spaces we got? We got 121 spaces. I'm going to do some math. Okay? 3, 5, 8, 12, 17, 19, 22, 24, 30, 33, 37, 39, 42, 49, 53, 59, 64, 66, 69, 71, 73, 74, or sorry, 76, 80, 85, plus 36, 121. Oh no, I have to fill every space? That can't be right. That can't be right. How am I gonna fucking do that? Okay. How the fuck am I gonna do that? Unless I did the math wrong in my head, but I don't know. Let's just... These are our 9s. 9 by 9. Now the thing is, these 9s can't touch these central bits, right? So if I can't move this direction, like if I put a wall here, no matter what I do with this square, it's going to touch the 2. So I have to move that direction. I also can't put a wall there. Or sorry, a wall here. Can't put a wall here because then I have to move that far. I touch the 3. So this is part of the square. And in fact, all of these squares have to go out at least this far. Which gives me a little bit of work with the 6. Because this 6 here, let me now color. I'm going to say 2s, as I've always done. Dominoes are orange. Now 3s, I'm going to do every 3 the same color. Even if it's, normally elbows I do cyan and straightaways I do as green. But I'm going to just make them all green for now. 4s, I'm going to make them all red. 5s, I'm going to do as blue. 6 is cyan, and 7, I guess, is going to be yellow. So that gives us all our colors. So the 6 now is going to be forced into this corner here, which means the 5 is going to be forced into that spot. I hope you see why, because if we don't have that spot, we don't have enough space for the 5. And if we don't have this spot for the 6, we don't have enough space for the 6, which is going to force our cube over here to the right, because it can't go any further to the left. So the question is whether it goes up one more space or whether it goes down one more space. And I think we can answer that as well, because the 6 will now need to extend outward. Is that right? Yeah, the 6, there's only 5 spaces here. It will extend this way. So this cube is given to us. And boy, oh boy, I hope that logic is right. This 5 can still be all of these spaces. We don't know yet. This 4 now needs to extend this direction, which actually finishes off the 6. The 6 is complete. The 5 now is also complete as an N piece. This domino is complete. The 4 is an S piece. The 7 must extend out this way, but it still has a lot of freedom where to go from there. Not really. 7 can't go here, because then it locks into 3. This is the furthest it can go this direction, which means the 7 does in fact have to take that spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's required. 5 must move up. So now this as well needs to move to the right. This 3 is required to move down, makes an S piece of the 4. These are complete. The 7 has to move up. The 7's complete. This is complete. That's complete. Our 6, I forgot to color cyan, must come out this way. 5 still has to extend. That wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. I'm hoping that I've done it right so far. The 3 is not guaranteed to touch the space. 3 is not locked in anywhere. I need something that's locked in somewhere. How about this 4? See, the 4, I was thinking, does the 4 force this cube to move upward? Actually, hold on, does this cube move upward ever? If this cube moves upward like so, we're fine. This actually works. The cube can totally move this way. As far as I'm aware, from what I can see. It can't move this way. So whatever the case, if it moves to the right, it's got to be here, which is fine. And if it moves up, it's got to be there, which is fine, which doesn't give me anything. The 4, I was thinking this 4 has to move up somewhere, so it would force the cube up, but 4 could come around this way, and we'd be fine. Actually, no, hold on. I should think about the 6. If the cube moves down this way, the 4 is trapped, but if it moves down this way, the 6 is trapped. So it must move up, which is going to force the 5 around. That's going to force these moves here. So we do, in fact, have this set. Okay. I mean, I like the logical progression of this. Not nearly as difficult as the previous puzzle so far, but I still think it's good. So we have a couple places this can go. Still not guaranteed. This can still move up. Can't move up to the right because the 3's blocked in. In fact, can it move up at all? No. Yes. Yes, this is just it. That's just it. Fantastic. We did it. I got Decade of Triumph, adorn 10 windows with jewels. Whew, that was a marathon. I really like this area. I wish every part of the game was like this. Wonderful puzzle. I still think this is the king puzzle here. For like how to use the logic of that one. I'm very, very happy with the way this one worked. Anyway, I like the other ones too, but that was the best one. Okay, well that's all. It's been an hour, so I'm gonna head out now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back in the next video, and I hope to see you then. Have a good day. Bye.